All of the flowers are finally starting to come up. The bees are buzzing around happily, and we're waking up now with a sunrise nice and early and the beautiful sun starting to come in the northern hemisphere. And that means that we are finally coming up to Beltane, which is the beginning of summer in the Gaelic calendar, and it's a very exciting time of the year. So I just wanted to make a video with a little bit of history and folklore about Beltane, and then some modern ideas of things that you could do to celebrate the festival and kind of keep the traditions alive. So you might hear a lot of people say Beltane. In Irish it would be more of Beltane, and that is ultimately where what we know as Beltane comes from. So it's traditionally celebrated on the 1st of May or around that time, in between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. It was widely observed in Ireland, Scotland, the Isle of Man, and then sort of filtered out into other places such as England, where we have May Day and things like that. Beltane or Beltane is one of the 4 main Celtic festivals. So the others that we've got are Imbolc, Samhain and Lunasa, and they're all sort of celebrating different points in the seasonal calendar. I'm going to just butcher some Irish pronunciations, so I'm really sorry. But when I was having a look to see where's this come from and where are the very first references to Beltane that we can find, the earliest ever reference is in Sanas Cormac. I don't know if I've said that correctly, I'm really sorry if I haven't, which is an Irish glossary dating from the 9th century. So in this glossary it talks about Beltane, and it says things about lucky fires and great incantations, and some things about cattle and sort of driving the cattle between the fires. It also makes reference to this being the beginning of summer, and then that's kind of where solid ancient evidence runs out, but that is the concrete source that we can see from the 9th century. But then from there we can see loads of other records in history of people continuing to do something for Beltane around this time of year. In the 17th century, a historian called Geoffrey Keating wrote about the tradition being kept alive, saying that bonfires would be lit in every district of Ireland and the cattle driven between them. And this was done to protect the cattle from disease and make sure that everything was going to be healthy and strong and great going into the summer season. In the 1820s, we can see the tradition still carrying on. So people would do cattle jumping, where they would light little fires and make the cattle jump over them. This is a similar thing to wish good fortune on the cattle and good health and those kind of things. In Scotland we have evidence of this as well. In 1571 in Peebles we have record of the watch being doubled around the time of Beltane, presumably because of all the festivities and things like that going on at the time. Traditionally people would gather together, fire would be a really big part of it. There would be feasting and song, lots of food and drink, floral decorations, whether that be on a May bush in Ireland, so decorating it with ribbons and flowers and that kind of thing, or even decorating cattle and things like that as well. There's all sorts of tiny little bits of folklore everywhere, such as in Ireland, people visiting the holy wells, and there's some folklore around the Beltane dew on the grass and the plants, being a kind of like beauty remedy for maidens to keep their youthfulness or whatever if they dabbed on the May dew. We can see similar things around Europe, Walpurgis night in Germanic countries, Calan Mai in Wales. In England we have May Day, like I mentioned, and this would involve a big maypole and ribbons onto it, and people, young maidens, would dance around the maypole. There's also reference to a goddess of flowers, Flora, in the Roman tradition, who would be celebrated around this time. And I've just seen a butterfly out the window. That is one of the first butterflies I've seen this year. So yeah, that's definitely Beltane vibes. Anyway, the Ovid says that goats and hares and things were released around this time, and there'd be big spectacles and honouring, making sacrifices to the goddess Flora. So like we usually see with all of these seasonal celebrations, it's not usually just one place that does them. Often it's people all around the world who have sort of similar celebrations, and this might be them actually being interconnected and people kind of spreading and learning from each other. Or it also could just be like an innate feeling in humanity that these are the kind of key times of year where something is changing and something special is happening outside in the natural world. So that's a little bit about the folklore and the history. And you can have a look into your local area, or dig a little bit more into Ireland or Scotland, or whatever it is you're interested in, and just see about the kind of local traditions and things like that, because they, like all folklore does, it kind of varies from place to place, but it's really interesting. And then I just wanted to talk about some modern ideas, because you might think, well, why would anyone still be doing this essentially cattle ritual from the 9th century and earlier? I don't have cattle, I'm not a farmer, but as all things do, things kind of morph and change and evolve over time while still keeping some of those traditional elements, and that's why people still celebrate Beltane today. And you can go to various different Beltane festivals. There is one in Butser Ancient Farm, the south of England. There's a really big one in Edinburgh in Scotland every year, with a lot of fire performers and all that kind of thing, so still keeping on the theme of fire. And there's also just smaller gatherings as well. I was having a look to see if I could find some little Beltane gatherings around me, maybe like little women's circles or anything, and I couldn't really find anything. There was a couple of things, but they were a bit further away. There's something at Thornborough Henge. So I have actually decided to have my own little Beltane gathering this year, and obviously it's not quite Beltane yet, so I haven't done it for this video, but I hope to take a couple of videos and include it in a future video as well, so keep watching if you're interested in seeing that. But there are many different ways that you could choose to celebrate Beltane in the modern day and keep up with these old traditions, and I'm just going to give you some different ideas. Some of them are really, really simple and free, some of them are a little bit more in depth, a little bit more planning involved, but well, however you choose to celebrate, it's just nice to remember this time of the year and what it meant to so many people across the world and how important it was. So first idea is completely free, and something I always recommend to get in touch with the seasons, and it's just to go for a walk. Maybe you can go to a park nearby, or some gardens or forest or whatever it is, and make it a meditative walk, so you're not just kind of, you know, trying to get the steps in, stomping through and just kind of seeing, just kind of like charging through the woods, but try and really make the purpose of the walk to focus on the season and nature and what's kind of changing around you. So this time of year, depending on where you live, you can go out and see various different flowers coming up. Maybe the bluebells are up for you, they're not quite there for us yet. Wild garlic might be coming through, you might still have daffodils like we do, and you can see the first bees and butterflies like I've just seen, and lots of different things like that. The dandelions are coming through here as well, and it's a nice time of year to just kind of walk and make note of all these things. And if you want to take an extra step, you could create a nature journal or something like that, just make a note of everything that is changing around you and how it makes you feel, and just any kind of thoughts and feelings. Just let the thoughts come out onto the page is a really nice thing to do, and it just helps you to get really in touch with the season and the world around you, because we spend a lot of time indoors obviously, and you know, we have to go out into nature now. Ultimately we are part of nature, and you know, having that connection with the natural world just brings you more connected to yourself as well. So get out there, have a really thoughtful, contemplative walk, and just notice the little buds coming up, blossom, all these lovely things, and hopefully that will be a nice, free and simple thing that you can do to get connected to Beltane. Another thing, as I've mentioned, is a really big theme of Beltane is fire. And this is one of the oldest things that goes back right to the original festival, and However you choose to do it in the modern day is totally up to you. If you want to make a huge bonfire and dance around it, that's fantastic. If you have a cow and you want to walk the cow, I wouldn't make a jump over. Maybe you want to walk the cow near a fire. I don't know. I'm not advocating for anything to do with animals. Please be nice to them. But you know, something like that where it's more in keeping with these old traditions, then go for it. You might have a fire in your house or a fire pit in the garden, or you might have none of these things. You might have a simple candle. You just light the candle and that's your way of bringing in the fire for Beltane. Or you might not have that either, and you might just want to use some kind of light to yeah, give the vibe of a fire. It could be just a regular lamp, torch, whatever, as long as you're thinking about the fires and the sun and these kind of things. It doesn't matter how simple you have to take it. You don't need to do anything fancy, but it's just a nice way to yeah, welcome in Beltane. Flowers are a really big theme of this year as well, because obviously all the flowers are starting to come up, and there's a few different things that people traditionally do. So one of them I've mentioned is the maypole, but you can also make mini maypoles and have little flowers on them, make little ribbons and that kind of thing. If you have an altar space or something, it's nice to put it there as a little bit of a decoration. And you can also make flower crowns as well. So I'm investigating this at the minute because for my little Beltane gathering I want to make something floral for everyone, or everyone makes it together. So I'm thinking of making flower crowns, and that'll be really nice, maybe with some dried flowers or something. I'm not sure. There's lots of different ways you can do it. You can buy kits, or you can just like wrap dandelions around each other, something simple as that, or you can get floral wire and headbands, and you know, however you want to do it. Or maybe you want to just make a daisy chain. That's always a really nice thing to do, and you can wear it as a little necklace or a crown or whatever you want to do. But maybe some kind of craft with flowers would be nice. Or even just get yourself a bunch of flowers, or buy a flower and put it in the garden, the windowsill, and just, yeah, kind of welcome in all of that new growth and life and colour for this time of year. People are another theme of Beltane, and this can be in two ways. So one is just simply gathering with friends, and that's what I'm going to try and do at my gathering, is just get a little group of people together, just casual, simple, and just to, yeah, welcome in this time of year. And as I say, maybe get the fire on and do like a couple of crafts or something. But it's nice to gather with people if you can. Maybe there's a Beltane gathering near you. If you do a bit of searching, maybe you could just get a couple of friends together, or if you don't have anyone to do it with, that's fine. I never have anyone to do these things with. I've never done this before. I've always done things by myself, so don't worry if you're by yourself. But if you can get a little gathering together, it can be nice to do that and have a little mini feast together, food and drink. Beltane is kind of a time for enjoyment, so this is one of the things that's kind of evolved over time, but it became this kind of big celebration where everyone would just drink too much wine and dance around the fire and all these kind of things. So it's fine to indulge a little bit if you want to at this time of the year. And the other aspect of people is on more of a romantic and intimate level. So this time of the year, it is all about lovemaking and reproduction and fertility and all these kind of things. So if you have a special someone, it might be a nice time of the year to be intimate with them. And you can even see this with things like the maypole, which is essentially a phallic symbol of fertility. In modern Beltane celebrations, a lot of them have a narrative in them where there'll be like a green man, forest man, wild man type character, and you can watch my video about the green man here if you're interested in learning more about him. And then like a maiden character, and the man will be chasing the maiden, and eventually they will get together. So this is what's going on in nature, and this is what humans do as well. So it's a good time of the year to think about intimacy and romance and love and fertility and reproduction, basically. And you know, maybe you want to do some kind of fertility ritual, but it doesn't have to be about actually being pregnant. It can be about something that you want to bring in, something that you want to create. You know, we are creative by nature, we can produce things by nature, and that is part of fertility as well in my eyes. It's not just actually having babies, but also the things that we create out in the world. So it's a nice time of year to plan things like that as well. Maybe do like a little ritual, maybe write some things down that you want to achieve, and that can be your sort of fertility ritual. A lot of people see this time of the year as a time when the fae are really active and they like to do a lot of different fairy things. So maybe you want to leave an offering for the fae, or do something to try and kind of connect to them. And it's interesting actually, because we have this, this is a whole other video topic, but we have this kind of like lovey-dovey idea of fairies now, I think, in the modern media, and everyone wants to do all these things to connect to fairies and stuff. But actually, if you look in the Irish tradition, a lot of the time fairies, the good folk, you wouldn't even say fairies, you would call them the good folk, the good people. You would be trying to do things to kind of ward them away and keep safe from them. So I would just say research fairies. I will do a video at some point, but it's such a huge topic that I'm still researching it, so I can make sure I cover everything. But yeah, this is a time of year where people do think about fairies. So maybe you want to do something nice for the fairies to connect with them, or to keep safe from them. It depends what kind of background you come from and the beliefs you have and that sort of thing. And then a few other kind of simple easy things that you can do is, one is just sunbathe. And to me, the fire and the sun and life, it all kind of comes together at this time of the year where things are starting to get warmer, the days are longer, and the sun is pulling up all of the plants from the earth. So it can be, for some people, me, in this area, the first time of the year where we really get sun properly, and it's still freezing here, it's still being frosty, but the sun has been coming out a little bit, and I've just been catching those sun rays when I can, and it's just the nicest thing ever, because you can just really just absorb the vitamin D, and just, it's such a lovely feeling after a long winter and a very cold and gloomy spring. So sunbathing is just a nice thing that you can do. And then you could also plant some seeds or bulbs. It's a nice time to plant some late summer bulbs or something like that, or get some seeds started. I've got a lot of seeds over there that I'm trying to grow, a lot of different flowers starting to come up. So maybe you've got a garden, or maybe you've just got a windowsill and you can just plant a couple of seeds, plant a little bulb, whatever it is, and just kind of watch that grow. And it's a really nice, it's just a nice simple thing to do, which is just so lovely for this time of the year, to actually see life coming up. It is true real life magic, watching a seed turn into a plant and turn into a flower, and then the bee comes into it and you start crying because you're like, I helped this thing exist and now the bee is happy in it. It's a lovely feeling, so I really recommend it. And then the last thing that come to my mind was foraging. So you can maybe do like a beginner's foraging lesson, or watch some videos, be safe, and get some books on it, and start with something really simple if you've never foraged before. Dandelion is a good one, nettles are a good one, things that are really easy to identify, and you can make everything from dandelion honey to salad greens with young spring greens, soups, greens, drinks, smoothies, all these kind of things to start just engaging a bit more with the world around you and welcoming things into your body that are from the land that you're on. And a lot of the spring greens at this time of the year are so good for just helping with the liver and clearing the lymph and just getting things going. So just do a little bit of research. Obviously it's different where you are in the world and your area and that kind of thing, but see what's around you. Just make sure you're safe and you know exactly what it is, and it hasn't been sprayed with anything, it's not on the roadside or anything like that. So those are my tips for celebrating Beltane, a little bit of history and folklore as always, and then some ideas on how you might want to celebrate in the modern day. And if there's anything that I've missed or anything that you do, then please do just drop a comment, because I would love to hear what you think as well. And I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who commented on the post that I put on the community tab. I was genuinely in tears at some of the comments, and it reinvigorated my want to do YouTube videos. If you didn't see that comment that I made, basically when I make history and folklore videos, I get a lot of really hateful comments and quite scary comments at times, and it was really putting me off making YouTube content, because it's easy to say just ignore and block, but that I've already read the comment by the time I'm blocking them, so I've already thought about it and taken it on, and I want to make sure that I am moderating things and deleting things so that you don't have to read it as well. So yeah, people leave actually scary comments and message me on other social channels and stuff, so it's not very nice sometimes when I'm just trying to make nice videos. But yeah, I guess it's always the people who are negative that tend to speak up the most. So I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who commented on that post, and everyone who was like, I don't usually comment, but this is how I feel. Just to see how you felt about the videos, that just meant so much to me, so thank you, and I will keep making the videos, and I'm really glad that you enjoy them. So you can read a Substack post about Beltane as well as usual. If you don't know what Substack is, it is a blogging platform kind of mixed in with a little bit of social media, where you can read blog posts on extra things that I don't put on YouTube, or extra details that I can't fit into every video, and I tend to write a blog post for most YouTube videos as well as extra ones. It's totally free to sign up, or you can sign up for a little subscription fee and get a little bit more content as well, so the link for that is in the description, and I really hope to see you there as well. And again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful Beltane. Please let me know what you get up to. I would really love to see and learn more about you. So thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.